it good make citizens they carry gun or not good for self-defense?
Well, that question is a good question, but the answer is neither here nor there. The answer go depend. The answer where anybody go fit give, even including me, go fit give, go depend on a lot of things, a lot of circumstances, a lot of issues, and a lot of perspective. Now, firearms is actually a dangerous weapon, but it is only dangerous if it is in the hands of a person, whether good or bad. A firearm is not a danger in itself. A firearm is just like a knife or a phone. Now, what you use and do go depend on whether now bad or good, device. So now, the problem here be say, if we look one or two countries we get right to bear firearms, countries like the US, violent crimes are very, very high in the US, very, very high, extremely high, because the right to bear firearms is embedded as part of their human rights there. So everybody just get right to go based on one or two small checking. You feel go buy gun, keep them for your house, but they still get rules. Not be say you go buy gun, come they carry and they walk about. They use and they scare people for street. Switzerland get right to bear firearm. You understand? For Switzerland now, they don't get real army. So everybody now like a soldier. Everybody gets training from childhood on how to handle guns. So if Switzerland get problem, everybody can mobilize. Everybody will be mobilized against the external or internal aggressor. That is how countries like this work. So to get from point A, where we know they bear arms, to point B, where we they bear arms, it get things where we suppose guys do as a nation for us to come to that point where we go say, okay, now we are now mature enough to bear arms. Now another thing we see, if we look at as we be now, firearms even they everywhere as it be. And if we look at where we go see say violent crimes don't also increase for Nigeria. Only say the violent crime, it be like say it can't concentrate for the same few spaces in Nigeria. The problem don't they since areas like places in the southeast where you have a lot of kidnapping, you go see firearms for small boys' hand. You understand? Areas in the northeast, northwest, and now recently also north central, where people go just come shoot for air, use and kidnap entire villages, can't disappear inside bush. You understand? There is a saturation of firearms in those places, and firearms saturation can also indicate a breakdown of law and order in a country where bearing of firearms is not allowed. So all those things are things where we supposed to look carefully before we decide for ourselves whether to bear firearms is a good thing or a bad thing. It will involve training. It will involve mobilization of the citizens. It will involve character building and orientation of the general populace. A lot of things they involved before we go come to that point when we feel talk say we feel they bear firearms. Now, bearing of firearms too, bear in mind, in Nigeria is generally outlawed, but exceptions dey.
Okay.
So people still feel go apply to get arms, but they no get right to bear the firearms everywhere.
When we did discuss behind camera, you get with you choke man before. You talk about 1967 to 1970 /80s.
Yes.
Say after the Biafran War,
Yes.
a lot of things happen. Firearms come desaturated.
Yes.
Say now waiting the part of the thing we give
Yes.
back to enemy that.
And all
So
those
which
honorable
point
them.
you actually they try make? You they try talk say the
Yes.
violence crimes where they happen for place like
Yes.
America, is they equivalent to the terrorism crisis where they happen here?
Okay, so now the thing be saying, as I've been talk, the rise in violent crime is a symptom of a lot of things, e.g., lack of education, poverty, bad governance and things like that. It go also fit indicate the existence of other things too, breakdown of law and order. You understand? Now, during the Biafran War, Nigeria, I think, became the highest place for the largest concentration of small arms, second only to the Second World War. That is a serious issue. Now, when you don't get plenty small arms like this for one particular area, they always had to mop them up. They always had to mop up. So we can say from the mid-70s to early 80s, a period of a decade, firearms incidents in Nigeria became extremely rampant. So those guns where the military no get opportunity to mop up, or guns where find their way out of the system, were now being in greater use by criminals and criminal elements, where they use to threaten both the police, the army, and the general population for that period. So, and there was obviously a rise in cases of armed robbery, which even led to making laws, if I could remember the name of the law, armed robbery and miscellaneous offences law, which law now ensured that armed robbery became a capital offence, such that an armed robber would be sentenced to death by hanging. Before, now sentenced to death by firing squad. But after the military, it can become sentencing to death by hanging till the person could die. You understand? Now, and since then, we don't still operate that law. Now, because of that period, that issue of after the Biafran War, where firearms come plenty. So as I talk, it is a symptom of a lot of things: poverty, breakdown of law and order, and bad governance.